Good morning, Rev here this morning. It is Wednesday. It is the 23rd of June. Another week or so, we'll be out of this month. I hope you're safe and well and blessed this morning. Whatever, this is hump day. We get halfway through the week. It's all so, but I hope everything's going well for you during this week, and I hope you're being a witness for Jesus. And it's kind of a little bit of what I'm going to talk about tomorrow. We're going to talk about what we call apologetics, which is a defense of the gospel. But we'll talk about that tomorrow. Today, we talked about, is Jesus the only way to heaven? Or yesterday, that's what I said. Yesterday we talked about Jesus being the only way to heaven. Today, the question that we're dealing with is this: does hell really exist? So, the scriptures assure us that hell is a very real place. Now, hell was not a part of God's original creation. Excuse me. In fact, God created everything, and in Genesis chapter 1, he called it good. Hell was created later to accommodate the banishment of Satan and his fallen angels who rebelled against God. As we read Matthew chapter 25, verse 41. He says, "Then he will say to those on his left, 'Depart from me, you who are cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels.'" Human beings who reject Christ will join Satan and his fallen angels in this infernal place of suffering. Now, one of the more important New Testament words for hell in Greek is Gehenna. In Matthew chapter 8, or chapter 10, it's verse 28, Jesus says, "Do not be afraid of those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather, be afraid of the one who can destroy both soul and body in hell." Now, this is the NIV version, so it didn't actually use the word Gehenna. But this word, it's an interesting word. It has a interesting history. That is, for several generations in ancient Israel, the atrocities. There were atrocities that were committed in what's called the Valley of Ben Hinnom, and those atrocities included human sacrifice, even the sacrifice of children. We read in 2 Kings chapter 23, verse 10, says, "The king defiled the altar of Tropheth in the Valley of Ben Hinnom, so no one could ever again use it to sacrifice a son or daughter in the fire as an offering to Molech." And there are other references to this in 2 Chronicles chapter 28, verse 3, Jeremiah chapter 32, verse 35. You can go look those up. These unfortunate victims were sacrificed to this false god, the Moabite god, named Molech. Excuse me, Jeremiah, he appropriately called this valley the Valley of Slaughter in Jeremiah chapter 7, verses 31 to 34. Eventually, the valley came to be used as a public rubbish dump into which all the filth in Jerusalem was poured. Not only garbage, but also bodies of dead animals. The corpses of criminals were thrown onto this heap where they, like everything else in the dump, would burn perpetually. The valley was a place where fires never stopped burning. And there was always a good meal for a hungry worm. The place was called, in Hebrew, it was called, I probably won't say this right, but Jejin Hinnon, which is translated the Valley of the Sons of Hinnon. And it was eventually shortened to the name Jehinnon. The Greek translation then of that phrase became Gehenna. And depending on which word or version of the scriptures you read, you'll find that word Gehenna, and it became an appropriate graphic term for the reality of hell. Jesus used the word 11 times in a metaphorical way of describing the eternal place of suffering of unredeemed humanity. And there are different descriptions or a variety of words that were used to describe the horrors of hell, including fire, fiery furnace, unquenchable fire, the lake of burning sulfur, the lake of fire, everlasting contempt, perdition, the place of weeping and gnashing of teeth, eternal punishment, darkness, the wrath to come, exclusion, torments, damnation, condemnation, retribution, woe, and the second death. Hell is real. And it is a horrible destiny. Suffice it to say, hell ain't cool. I'm Pastor Mark. I love you guys. Be safe, be well, be blessed. Go do something for Jesus. See you tomorrow.